Yakamama, the giant anaconda mother. Inspired by Amazonian mythology. Step carefully, traveler. For tonight, our path winds into the beating heart of the Amazon. A world where the air hangs heavy with secrets, where the river coils like a living serpent, and where ancient spirits breathe beneath the roots of colossal trees. This is the tale of Yakamama, the mother of waters, the first serpent, the protector, and sometimes the wrath of the great Amazon River. A story of guardianship, a story of warning, a story of the bond between the forest and the people who listen to it. Lean closer, for the river remembers everything. Chapter 1. The Village by the River. Long before cities rose and chainsaws roared, a small Amazonian village thrived along a wide, winding river. The villagers lived in harmony with the forest, hunting only what they needed, offering thanks after each catch, whispering prayers before stepping into the water. Among them was a curious boy named Iroama, known for wandering where he shouldn't. His grandmother, Amana, often found him sitting dangerously close to the riverbank, staring into the murky green waters. One evening, as the twilight turned gold and purple, Amana laid a gentle hand on his shoulder. "My child," she whispered with a voice worn by time, "do not sit too close. The river has eyes. It listens." Iroama turned to her, puzzled. "Grandmother, the river is just water." Amana shook her head slowly. "No, Iroama, the river has a mother, and she watches." The boy's curiosity sharpened. "Who watches?" Amana gazed into the water, as if expecting something to rise from its depths. "Yakamama," she said softly, "the giant anaconda, mother of all creatures that swim." Iroama swallowed. "Is she dangerous?" Amana held his gaze, her voice dropping into a reverent hush. "She is the protector of the river, kind when respected and terrifying when wronged." Those words stayed with him long after the sun had vanished. Chapter 2. Stories by Firelight. That night, the village gathered around the fire, the flames painting orange shapes across their faces. The elders spoke of Yakamama, as they did every season. An elder named Kaida leaned forward, shadows flickering across his weathered skin. "Listen well, young ones," he began. "Yakamama is older than the first tree. Her scales are the color of midnight rain. Her eyes glow like embers underwater. And her breath, they say it can stir whirlpools strong enough to pull down whole canoes." Gasps rippled through the younger listeners. Kaida continued, his voice steady and slow. "She sleeps at the river's deepest bends, and when she wakes, the forest holds its breath." Iroama's eyes widened. "Has anyone ever seen her?" Kaida chuckled softly. "Many claim to, but only the wise know the truth. Yakamama reveals herself only when the river is in danger." Another elder, Teju, added with a grave tone, "And when humans forget respect." The fire crackled loudly, as if reacting to the words. Chapter 3. The Hunter Who Did Not Listen. Days passed. Iroama remained fascinated by the river and by Yakamama. One morning, a hunter named Maku returned from the forest boasting loudly. "I will prove your stories are nonsense," he mocked. "I will go to the Forbidden Bend, the place where the river swallows light. If your Yakamama is real, she may come greet me." Several elders warned him. "Maku, the river does not forgive mockery." But Maku only laughed. With a spear and a canoe, he set off, paddling toward the bend where the river grew unnaturally dark and quiet. Iroama, hidden behind a tree, watched him go with a knot in his stomach. The day grew still. Birds fell silent. The wind seemed to sink into the earth. Maku reached the Forbidden Bend and shouted, "Great Serpent, come face me." Then the river shifted. A ripple, a swirl, a long, slow coil rising from the deep. Not fast, like a creature with endless patience. Enormous, silent, terrifying. Maku froze, his bravado collapsing into fear. A massive shape glided just beneath the water's skin. A single amber eye broke the surface, ancient, knowing. Yakamama. The water hummed around her like the pulse of a living world. She didn't strike. Instead, she lifted her massive head slowly, towering above Maka's canoe. Her breath stirred the air, warm and heavy. Maka trembled. I meant no harm." The river replied with a low, rumbling hiss. Yakamama dipped her head and exhaled. A wave surged. Not enough to kill, but enough to capsize the canoe and send Maka tumbling into the shallows. The message was clear. Respect the river. Respect its mother. Maka stumbled back to the village, drenched and shaken, whispering, "She lives, she lives." And from that day, he never mocked the elders again. Chapter 4. The River in Danger. Months later, strangers arrived, men with axes, saws, and greed in their eyes. They spoke in a language the villagers didn't know. They cut trees without ceremony. They hunted animals without thanks. They dumped waste into the river. Amana watched with sorrow. They do not know her. They do not respect her. Iruama felt the forest changing. The birds grew scarce. The water grew muddier. Fish floated belly up near the shore. One night, the river groaned loudly, like an animal in pain. Iruama woke with a gasp. "Grandmother, what was that?" Amana's expression tightened. The river cries for help. And when the river cries, Yakamama rises. Far downstream, a dull roar echoed like thunder buried beneath water. The strangers ignored it. A second night passed. More trees fell. More waste spilled into the water. The third night was different. The villagers awoke to a sound so deep it shook the earth. A vibration, a rumble, the sound of something enormous sliding through water. The forest fell silent. Even the wind stilled. Iruama whispered, "She's awake." Chapter 5. The Awakening of Yakamama. At dawn, the villagers ran to the riverbank. The water churned violently. Fish leapt out of the river in frantic waves. Then, the river split. Out of the depths rose a shape so vast it seemed carved from the Amazon itself. A serpent, longer than a dozen canoes. Thicker than the trunks of ancient ceiba trees. Scales glistening like emerald and obsidian. Her enormous head lifted skyward, dripping with water that steamed in the morning sun. Yakamama, the mother of waters. Her eyes glowed with sorrow and fury. She turned toward the strangers' camp. A whirlpool formed around her. Trees bent under the pressure of her presence. One of the men shouted, pointing wildly, "What is that?" They rushed for their boats. Too late. Yakamama inhaled deeply, drawing water toward her like a living tide. The river rose in a massive wall behind her. She exhaled. The wave crashed forward, tearing through the strangers' camp, sweeping away their machines, pulling their boats into the swirling depths. Not out of hatred, but justice. The river had spoken. The intruders fled, their screams swallowed by the roar of rushing water. From the treetops, birds cried out in triumph. Monkeys howled. The forest seemed to breathe again. When the waves settled, Yakamama slowly dipped her head toward the villagers, not to threaten, but to acknowledge. Amana bowed deeply. "Mother of waters, we hear you. We will protect what is yours." Yakamama blinked slowly, like a queen accepting a promise. Then, silently, she slipped beneath the surface, vanishing into the deep as if she were never there. But the ripples remained for a long time. Chapter 6. Iruama's Visit. Years passed. Iruama grew into a young man, wise, respectful, loved by the forest. One evening, guided by instinct, he walked alone to the river bend where Maku had once ventured. The water was calm, glowing a soft green beneath moonlight. He knelt. "Mother of waters, I wish to thank you. You saved our home, our lives." The river stirred gently, not violently, like a mother waking from sleep. From the depths, a familiar amber eye rose, shimmering. "Yakamama." Iruama swallowed, but did not step back. His voice remained steady. "I promise to defend the river as you do." The giant serpent lowered her head until it hovered above the water, close enough that Iruama could feel her breath. It was warm, alive, ancient. She touched her head lightly to the river's surface, and a smaller wave brushed against Iruama's hand. A blessing. Then she slipped back into the deep, leaving the water humming with her presence. Iruama whispered, "I will not forget." And he never did. Chapter 7. The Lesson of the River. The elders say that Yakamama still sleeps beneath the Amazon. She rises when the river is threatened. She watches every bend and tributary. She guards every creature that swims. Her story carries lessons deeper than the river itself. Respect the world around you. Every river, every tree, every creature has a guardian. Listen before you act. Nature speaks softly before it speaks loudly. Protection comes with responsibility. The river gives life, but demands balance. And above all, the Amazon is alive, breathing, feeling, remembering, and somewhere in its deepest waters, Yakamama, The giant anaconda mother still coils in silence, watching over all who depend on her. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it just as I did. Remember to subscribe to the channel and click on the like button for more. I hope you learned some valuable lessons from this video today. See you in our next video.